Okay. Hey guys, Dr. Mark T. Wade here and coming live to you. I want to talk about the One Day Summit formula and I want to go into some specifics with it. I'm actually running this through Zoom. It's the first time I've kind of done this. So hopefully this works with us, but I wanted to do that because I want to be able to share the screen, which I'm going to do right now. So what I really want to specifically talk about today is the One Day Summit formula. And I want to go over some of the main or like kind of specific areas or things that you need to know with this to essentially show you, how you can set this up and how you could run this, yourself. So this is the One Day Summit formula. My goal with this is to make it look as easy as possible. Like my goal is not to make myself sound smart or look smart. And the One Day Summit formula should look and seem pretty easy. So I wanted to make sure that is clear. So here's the overview of it. One Day Summit formula actually has essentially 5 or technically 6 parts if we're going to look at it. And it should flow simply like this. This can be, strung out over the course of several weeks, or it could be, literally done within a few days as far as when you start to finish of when you're going live with this. So we're going to see here the components of this. We have essentially our registration, our landing page. We have our confirmation upsell. We actually have our One Day Summit live, and then we have last chance sequences, and then that goes into the turn. So while you're seeing this week 1 or week 2 on the registration page here, so this is the overview of it. We're going to see this is the flow. This is how it kind of goes through each of these. I've made this diagram so you can see like what is the specific points of each of these, whether it's to monetize, whether emails need to be going or whatnot. So one of the most important aspects of the One Day Summit is that it revolves around solving a problem. So, that's more getting into the strategy of it, but I always have to specify, like with One Day Summits, we're solving a problem and building a relationship. So with that, we want to make sure that we have a very specific problem that the whole One Day Summit is themed around. That's the most important part. This also built within the One Day Summit is there's 12 different psychological factors or triggers that kind of go into this. Many of you know I'm a healthcare professional by trade. I have a couple doctorates and 50 some odd certifications. And so I really love looking at psychology. What makes people do what? What makes people do what? And one of the things I love about the One Day Summit is there's actually just naturally all of these psychological triggers built in throughout it. So it also over delivers on value. The One Day Summit always over delivers on value. So unlike what's out there right now, where we have like lead magnets, like ebooks or PDFs or even webinars, or, some people go straight into like consultation calls. A lot of those are either high risk with low value, or low value and still high risk, or they just maybe are low risk, but they're still low value. So for example, what I mean by that, people know if they're going to get on a webinar with you, that you're probably going to try and sell them something at the end. It's a lot of time that they're going to have to invest into it. And they know that they're probably going to be pitched something along those lines. So there's a lot of risk involved in it. Now, the higher value the webinar is to them, the more important it is to them, the more likely they are still to do it. But that's why we always see this kind of a very low show up rates right now in webinars. Also with like, if you're going straight to like a consultation, like getting somebody on, either a phone call or a Zoom call with you to talk about some kind of either coaching program or whatnot, they know that you're going to be selling them essentially like a high ticket offer. So there's a lot of risk there for them. And hopefully to get people on there, you have to provide a ton of value on the front end just to get that to happen. Well, what's cool with the One Day Summit is it's low risk and high value. Like we're not necessarily selling them anything. We're giving away a ton of great value, really powerful and beneficial information. And there's no risk. Like they're not having to get on a consultation call with us. They're not worried about getting upsold, like they're just going to get there and they can consume that value. And then if they decide they want to continue the relationship and buy something, which is usually what will happen, then they can. Also, One Day Summits provide a lot of authority, okay? Proof of concepts. I usually talk about expert leverage. When you have these speakers on your One Day Summit, they already have authority or credibility. And so you leverage that expertise or that credibility because they're on your summit. You're the host of this platform, which also is another aspect to it. It gives you a platform. I mean, there's people out there that spend so much time and energy and money to build like podcasts and things like this just to have a platform to give themselves credibility in order to, leverage to get new leads in, new subscribers, and then additionally are obviously sales. So with a one-day summit, you're the host of this summit, which has credibility and authority. So you have a platform, but you're also able to leverage the expertise of the other speakers that are going to be on your one-day summit. And then obviously we're providing offers that can't refuse. So let's go and get into the details of each of this. I want to show you some of the specifics here. So again, I like to show the overall, like here's the one-day summit formula overall, so you can see where we're going with it. You can understand it's really not that complex or complicated. And now we'll just dive into a little bit of the specifics. All right. So the first aspect of this is the landing page, right? So we have people coming in to consume the one-day summit. Now you'll see there, or the registration page, you'll see there week 1, week 2. Now, the reason we have that, this is when you're like initially starting your advertising or your promotions, or you're opening it up to allow people come in. Now you can do it further out in advance, but the maximum I really recommend is about 4 weeks. The reason is the further out you get away from your summit, the less urgency there is for people to actually take action. So what we see is the closer it gets to the summit, it's almost like a hockey stick curve, like more people take action, the conversions go way up. So if you have a limited budget, like a limited ad spend, or maybe a limited amount of resources as far as people emailing for you, things like that, then you're going to really want to jam pack that more into 1 week out or even 2 weeks out, because that's where you're going to get the highest return on investment for that. Now, if you have a bigger budget, or budget's not really an issue for you, or you're going to use some kind of more complicated marketing strategy with, free value, retargeting, things like that, then you can start it further out. But again, what we see is, I really, with our one-day summits and our traditional summits, we really don't start advertising those ever more than 4 weeks out. And what we see is the closer it gets, like 2 weeks out, it starts to go up. And then 1 week out, we really see it spike. Now, registration pages, we're seeing all kinds of different types of registration pages. There's kind of this trend for like long form pages right now, long form video sales pages. And those are great. We use Virtual Summit software to run our summits. And in Virtual Summit software, one of the cool things about it is they've already got 3 landing pages already built out. They're the themes or templates. And what was really cool about that is they actually evaluated 100 of the most successful summits and what their landing pages or their registration pages had in them. And they created 3 themes. They found 3 themes and they duplicated those themes. So like the Virtual Summit software has already got that inside of it, which is really cool. But essentially what you're going to want to have is an opt-in box, obviously some imagery. You're going to probably want a welcome video. You're going to display your speakers, the categories. You're really going to want to make sure that the problem is highlighted very quickly so people know that it's for them. And then any kind of additional bonuses or offers or things like that, the further down the page you go. Now, the next step goes right into the confirmation or upsell. So of course you want to let them know, congratulations, you're all booked. You should be, seeing an email with your links or whatever, confirming that they're there. But also, this is an opportunity to say, hey, would you like to upgrade to the lifetime access or to this bonus or whatnot? So this is really where we monetize even on a list builder. So just to clarify, typically we have 2 most popular, most common types of one-day summits. That's going to be the list builder, which is going to be free for people to opt in and consume. And then we have a premium or a monetization. So that's usually if you already have a list and you're trying to monetize that list. So that's not going to be free to access. So you would be sending that primarily to your own list with really high value in it, and people would pay to access it. Now, most people run list builders because they're trying to build their list. So that's going to be free to access. So the registration page there, it's going to be free for them to opt in. but always on the confirmation page, we want to give them an opportunity to buy something, even if it's a small priced product or small priced offer, because the reason for this is, and one of the reasons I love one-day summits is typically they're going to be free to run, in the sense of the people that upsell on your upsell or confirmation page, it's going to pay for the traffic or the ad spend that you're using to run and build your one-day summit, like to build the list or audience of the one-day summit. So I really, really love that opportunity, because it allows you to essentially generate leads for free. Now, also at this point, you can see we have right below the confirmation upsell page, we have week 1, week 2. That's also right there. That's this is essentially where our communication sequences start. There's about 5 different types of communication sequences that we'll be doing. The first 2 start at the exact same time. But one is, it starts as soon as the person registers, and typically it's about 1 to 2 weeks out. We have our forward-facing campaign, which is going to be like our indoctrination sequence. This one's just going to be full value. It's going to be about the mission you're on, what impact you're trying to change in the world, and like everything. It's all going to be a positive, and it's trying to, bring the new these new people, new subscribers onto your mission, like a part of your tribe. So it's really a motivation email sequences. It's also really, really powerful for the relationship building aspect. Okay. We want to build a relationship with them, and this is how we're going to do it. The second email sequence is our countdown sequence, also called our sales sequence. Now with this is going to be the more technical aspect. So like, what do they need to know to be successful on the one-day summit? Do they need to use a certain browser? When does it start? Is there a download that they need to have in advance? These type of things. Like, what technical aspects do they need to make sure they have their access token? Like, do they need to be looking for a certain email? Things like that. But additionally, it's also where we're going to add in like our sales sequence. So with that upsell, we could still be targeting that same upsell, or we could have different upsells or different sales. Most commonly, we use this early bird sales offer, so they can get some kind of registration or get some access to purchase something at a limited time discount that's obviously going to disappear once the summit goes live. That's why it's called the early bird sequence. So these countdowns, so we have the forward facing and the countdown sequence. Okay. So those are going to be starting again about 2 weeks out, depending, and each one has a various, like the forward facing. And one thing to know about that with the forward facing or indoctrination campaign, doesn't really matter when they get this. So you could do, we on average do 5 to 10 emails, because what's cool is it doesn't even matter. They can get these emails after the one-day summit, after the summit even goes, because that is more motivation or inspiration emails. It's about your mission, what your company's doing, things like that. So they can get those at any time. Countdown sequence, that's kind of the reason we say countdown, is because it leads up to the start of your summit. So you don't really want them to have it after that. So a lot of times we have that date-based or whatnot, and it's going to be around, 3 to 5 emails, depending on, and that's, personal preference, but that's typically where we're at with that. Okay, moving on to the next aspect of this with the one-day summit formula. Now we have our one-day summit, live essentially. So most commonly we have the one-day summits, broken into two sessions, morning and afternoon. This just kind of makes it easier for people to not feel overwhelmed with however many sessions you have. And your sessions are going to either be, like your speaker sessions, or maybe you're doing teaching sessions or whatnot, or you have like a starter session. And those are going to be spread out through the morning and afternoon. You can kind of see those there. Typically we do anywhere from about 5 to 16 sessions. And length of time is based on your preference, but obviously shorter is better, just because one of the other main aspects or powers of the one-day summit is overcoming attention span. So we want to let people be able to get through the content easily and quickly. So 10 is kind of the sweet spot, usually 20 maximum, like, kind of 30 minutes. Like that's really the goal. Obviously, if some go over that, that's fine as well. So those are going to be broken out throughout the sessions. Those be spread out like that, morning, afternoon. If you're running a traditional summit here, a traditional like multi-day summit, the biggest difference you'll see right here is you would have more than one day. You'd have a couple days lined out there with speakers spread out. So at this point, we have our summit live sequence, email sequence. And typically we're doing 3 emails. You can do more than that if you want, but 3 is kind of the minimum. The first one kicks off, your one-day summit's going live. make sure you access whatever information they need, and it just gets them excited, gets them onto it. And then the second one is, session one, morning session, whatever, is getting ready to end. Session two is getting ready to start. Here's the information you need. And the whole time you're kind of building up some urgency. So whatever that offer is that's going to disappear, like you're really building urgency for them to take action on that right now. And then the last of that urgency or Summit Live sequence is like, hey, this is ending, going to be ending soon. If you missed any sessions or want to get access to the sessions longer, here's our upgrade options. And you provide them with that. Now, moving forward, and so those are pretty straightforward and simple, and it's just, that's an urgency sequence. It's a Summit Day, Summit Live. Now, we have kind of up there at the top the bonus day. This is more an advanced strategy. You can do this if you want. It's absolutely not mandatory or necessary. And if you're doing multiple one-day summits, if you're doing one-day summits frequently, you don't want to do this on every one because people start to get used to it. Now, when you do it, it is one of those psychological triggers that, it hits the rule of reciprocity that you're giving this bonus unexpected. Typically, it's the next day. You give it for a certain amount of time. They can go back and have access to it, because otherwise, when the one-day summit ends, it's locked. And the only way for them to get access to that is to purchase an upgrade or purchase an ongoing access, like the on-demand. Now, again, it's usually the list builder is free. They get access to it. They can watch it, but they have to watch it during the time that it's available. And once that ends, then it locks down. And the only way for them to get access to it is to upgrade or purchase an additional access to it. And so that's how you still monetize even the list builder, which again, allows you to build a decent amount of income from your one-day summit, but also overall covers all your ad spend. So you got the bonus day, and the same thing, that also just gives you another day to kind of communicate with them, rule reciprocity. But the next actual part of the one-day summit formula is the last chance sequence. Now, this can be anywhere from about 1 to 3 days, 4 days maximum. But essentially, this is last chance. This is their last opportunity to purchase access to the one-day summit. It's already closed, but if they want to get access to that or any of the bonuses, they have to take action now. So this is our last chance sequence. Typically, we do 2 emails a day. I mean, you can do more if you prefer. 3 emails is good as well. But essentially, what we typically do here is like a diminishing bonus, or it's a price point increase, or it's a completely off the table kind of urgency. Meaning, diminishing bonuses, if they still get access, if they purchase access on day 1, after it's over, they're going to get all the bonuses. If they wait till day 2, they're only going to get half the bonuses. If they wait till day 3, they're only going to get like 10% of the bonuses. So that's like a diminishing bonus offer. A price increase is, hey, you have 2 more days to be able to purchase access to this, one-day summit at the original $99, or maybe it increased, after the summit ended. But after this point, it's going up, 3 times the price. So if you're offering it like right now during your last chance sequence for 100, after the last chance sequence is over, it's going to go up to 500. So that's kind of the urgency with that. Or completely off the table is, hey, once this ends, I'm pulling it off the table. You can't even get access to it at all. So those are some different options with your last chance sequence, but essentially you're just emailing them to remind them and create that urgency to go ahead and upgrade again for the upgraded or ongoing access. So then that kind of brings us to our last section, or last kind of part of the one-day summit formula. And it's actually split into 2. So once the one-day summit formula essentially ends, the next aspect is the turn. And that's really where we go into the monetization aspect. So we have some other trainings, and I'm sure I'll be doing more on these trainings later, but our hustle to scale framework is the customer journey, and how the one-day summit sits at the front end of your customer journey and helps increase the efficiency and effectiveness of the rest of that customer journey. So the next part of the customer journey is the monetization phase. And that is essentially where we're going to then be offering our next promotion. Typically, it's like an info or digital product, like a course, an online course, which is exactly aligned with the original problem that the one-day summit was focused around. So that then goes into the term, which starts the whole next part of the monetization or the customer journey. And then that's going to be, you'll have email sequence based on whatever your promotion is for there. And that's really where you'll start to monetize. So the one-day summit, well, I'll talk about that in just a second. Now, the other aspect of that is Ever Summit protocol. So with the virtual summit software, one of the most, powerful features with the with the virtual summit software is that with one click of a button, you can automatically rerun your summit as if it was live, ongoing forever. So meaning you can decide whether you want it to be once a week, twice a month, or once a month, and the software will rerun the entire summit as if it was live, and you just continue to send traffic to it. Anybody that comes to that original registration page is going to show that the summit starts, whenever, if you've said weekly, it's going to start that next Thursday. And so then they opt in, they go into the same sequence here, and then the summit, the software unlocks it and locks it based on that date frame, that time frame, and creates real urgency. So if they don't purchase during that period, they don't upgrade during the time frame that they're supposed to, if they try and go back to the registration page, it's still going to tell them that registration has ended. So the only thing they can do is upgrade. But in the meantime, you can continue to send new traffic to it ongoing forever. So that's extremely powerful because it now lets your one-day summit sit at the front of your customer journey ongoing forever, and you continue to optimize that and improve it. And so it's going to only enhance and create better conversions down the road. So the Ever Summit feature or Ever Summit protocol is extremely powerful. We use this all the time to just continue to generate leads and monetization ongoing. So that's really cool. And that's with the Virtual Summit software. Just a real quick point on the Virtual Summit software. It essentially does all of this other than the email sequences automatically. So you just, whether you're a techie or non-techie. So a lot of times at this point, the question I get is, this all sounds great, Mark, but do I have to, build out the confirmation page? Do I need to have a developer create the one-day summit, like the actual summit live, and put all the speaker things in there? The Virtual Summit software, and I'll put a link to that somewhere here, it does this all automatically. Like, you essentially, once you have a speaker confirmed, you send that, you put that into the software sends them an email, they click it, they fill out their information, it's auto-populated all throughout the entire summit. The software does all the speaker pages, the landing page, you just kind of customize it based on the colors, the images, the text, the videos, things like that, but it's all automatically done for you. And it unlocks and locks each of the sessions, morning session, afternoon session, all of that. So the Virtual Summit software, even if you're not a techie, you have no tech skills, or you don't have a team, or maybe you're limited on budget, the Virtual Summit software is definitely the way to go with that. So again, here is the whole overview of the one-day summit formula. Again, start to finish, we have a registration, which then goes into our confirmation upsell. That initiates the first two email communication sequences, which is our forward face and our countdown sequence. Then once the summit goes live, we have our one-day summit live, which is broken into the morning, afternoon session with the teaching sessions spread out through that. We have our summit live email or urgency sequence. You have the option to then offer a bonus day if you'd like, to increase that rule of reciprocity. Then we go into our last chance sequence to get people to increase urgency, to get them to upgrade to the ongoing access, which is to purchase and monetize a little bit. And then once it ends, we go into the turn, which is our next promotion, like the monetization sequence. And at the same time, we'll then want to activate the Ever Summit protocol, which makes the whole thing live, ongoing, forever. So that's the one-day summit formula. Super easy, not complicated, especially with the Virtual Summit software. You could have this part right here done in a matter of hours. The more comfortable and confident you are with it, you're going to have it done in no time at all. So I just wanted to cover that. Obviously, guys, I'm going to come back and check comments. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that, I'll put links both into my one-day summit formula starter guide. If you want to get the starter guide, it has this PDF as well as our strategy PDF there for you. So you can actually build out your own one-day summit, the strategy, et cetera. And I'll also put a link to the Virtual Summit software. There's a free trial. You can access it so you can go in and see, how amazing that is as well. Anyways, just wanted to say, as you guys know, one-day summit formula additionally is not only used for just list building and monetization. Those are the two most popular, but we use one-day summits for almost every promotion or campaign that we want to run, whether we want to, build our membership, or we have an affiliate promotion, or we're going to do a program launch, or we have a live event, or we want to build a mastermind. One-day summit sits in front of all of that. And it's like essentially putting lighter fluid on a flame. It just increases and enhances the outcome of that automatically. So make sure you check out more information, ask me questions. I'm here to help, guys. Just remember, scale or fail, choice is yours. So hustle hard, scale big.